All right, everybody, what is up? So, you are you are being manipulated by the cash PT coaching industry. Okay, so in it got me too. I actually believed it too. So in the cash PT industry and chiropractic industry, we are all taught, like you see online, just like you see in just regular social media. Everybody's posting their wins, right? But you see online of like this whole industry posting about how successful everybody is that does cash PT, and it got me. I'm like, wow, these people are really doing well. Good for them, right? But then, but then what happened is I started to, for years, I would quietly teach this seven-figure, 20-hour a week cash-based business model that I created. And then I started to talk to business owners on the phone, and they're all part of these programs, right? And then I start getting into the numbers about like how their clinics are doing, and they're making less than what like traditional physical therapists make, like most of them, and they're all part of these programs, and chiropractors too, and especially nowadays with the overhead going up, right? You rent, all that stuff, and they're making less. They just don't want to get a job, and they don't want to go back to being a W-2 employee. So they'd rather make like 20 grand less, and just do it that way. So it's it's gaslighting people. People are thinking that like, oh, if I join this program, then I'm gonna, get to be part of this community or whatever. But like the reality of it is it's not what you think. Trust me, it's not what you think. And physical therapists and chiropractors are making less than staff physical therapists. They're making like new grad type salaries. And they have like 20 years experience and they don't know what to do. And it's just the same thing over and over again that they hear, which is like, you gotta, find the right, targeting, or buy the latest machine. The buying the latest machine is not helping anybody. Okay, yeah, maybe you'll get with a, I don't know, SoftWave or whatever they call it. Maybe you'll get, some people in, but that's a $90,000 machine, and people are buying it, so they're 90 grand in debt. It's a down payment on a house, man. So are you really making money? How much are you actually making to pay off that machine, right? The problem that I see is that everybody is branding some machine. They're branding, this device, that device, this gigahertz or whatever. But the problem is when I get on the phone with people, I'm like, okay, we need to stop that. And they're like, well, I got this great machine. I don't care about your machine. What we need to do is brand you. You are the one with the clinical skills. Patients are coming to see you. They're not coming to see maybe some of them are coming to see your machine. But if you think that you're going to succeed because you got this machine and blow up your clinic type thing, those are very rare. And that's why I say people are getting gaslit, just like on regular social media, right? No one's posting their losses. No one's posting. So like there's literally studies that show it makes you more depressed, right? So when you get on and you own a cash-based clinic and you start scrolling and you're sitting there like, wow, look at all these people. Like, they're doing this amount and that amount. And then you start feeling bad about yourself, just like regular social media. And I realized years ago that this was not okay. And I'm like, you know what? I actually came up with, I listened to people over the years, and people, all they say is, I want to work less, make more, have more time for my family. I'm a mom. I want to work 3 days a week, and I want to make way more than a physical therapist, And I'm like, okay, 10-4. I'll show you how to do it, but you got to be willing to change. If you are not willing to change, I'm not the coach for you. Okay, you have to be willing to change the way you treat. and you have to be willing to change the way you do business and market. Okay, and I will teach you the rest on how we do this. But this is it's like a real problem, if you ask me. This whole cash-based PT industry is a real problem. Most people I talk to are not making what you think they're making, and they are frustrated, just like the insurance clinics owners, which God bless you if you can do that. They are frustrated. They are, and they think they're failing. And if you're making what to be blunt, if you're making what less than a physical therapist makes, maybe you have a better quality of life. Good for you if that's what you want. Then good for you. But you can make more at a job. So I get it. Nobody wants to work and be abused at work at these big insurance clinics. I get it. Those will give you mental health crises. Go on Reddit, ask, should I be a physical therapist? All you got to do is do that. Anyways, so listen, what I did is I developed a 7-figure, 20-hour-a-week, different clinic. Okay, total cash-based clinic, totally different clinic. I don't like. Everybody teaches you how to talk people out of using their insurance and use these sales techniques to get people to sign up with you. If someone wants to use their insurance, I'm like, you should go use your insurance. If I don't use sales techniques, I'm not a natural salesperson. And if you do that, things get awkward. So what I do is I literally use my clinical skills, which is what these patients want. I've spent a career developing ways I get my patients out of pain immediately and get exceptional results for them. I develop protocols, methods that can just be copy and pasted. People comment all the time in testimonials and stuff that this is, this is copy and paste stuff. Like, this isn't some theoretical framework that I came up with clinically, So patients come in, I use my clinical skills because that's what they're there for. They're there for your clinical skills, okay? So anyways, don't believe the hype. Don't believe what you're seeing online. And if you are making less than what a physical therapist makes, or the average chiropractor or whatever in your cash-based clinic, you're not alone. Trust me, this is how it works. But if you want to blow this thing up, I will teach you, but you got to learn the clinical skills. Okay, have to learn the clinical skills. I've literally heard this industry talk about, the cash-based clinic industry talk about the fact, stop taking clinical courses. What? That's what these patients are there for. Like, if my iPhone broke all the time or didn't work, I'm not thinking that my iPhone is a good iPhone. It's a piece of crap. I'm going with another company. Like, you have to give the highest chance of a patient to get better. So in my clinic, I've actually published statistically historic papers in the field of orthopedics, getting up to 26 times the readership, 3 to 5 years annually post-publication in these papers I published. So years ago, people were like, I started talking about the results I was getting in here, and that, like, I don't agree with you on SI joint dysfunction, that it doesn't move. What are you talking about? You can see it move. You pull on the person's leg, prone press up test, negative prone press up test. What happened? It moved, and you can literally see it. I don't care about these stupid studies that say that. And so I literally sat down and wrote a paper called Root Cause of SI Joint Dysfunction. And the journal told me that in 18 months it had 176,000 reads. And AI told me that that's off the charts. And then still to this day, it is getting 12,000, my sacral paper, 13,000 reads a year. And when the average paper gets 500 to 1,000. So these papers are off the charts. And the reason why is because people are finding them to be accurate in the clinic. That's why. I hear from people all the time. I post testimonials, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, you have to get clinical results for these people. Now, so if I'm telling people you should go use your insurance, the next question you're going to ask me is, hey, Ryan, so like, how do you get like patients to work with you? Listen, if someone is calling and saying that they need to use their insurance and they lead with that, they're shopping and they should go use their insurance. they're not going to pay, multiple times the cost of what it costs to see me, which patients happily pay it. And the reason why is happily pay to my students too. Happily pay it is because they recognize after years of struggling with these chronic pain conditions that this person actually invested in their time and education to figure it out. Everybody knows when you go to a specialist as a medical doctor that, and you pay cash, like it's not your typical medical visit. You get, like my wife just went to one. It was like $400 for like 10-minute consult with the doctor, right? Everybody knows that that's what you're doing. If a lawyer wins most of their cases because they're good, everybody knows you have to pay that lawyer, and it's going to cost more. So patients thank you for doing what you're doing. Patients thank me all the time. Like, thank you for spending so much time to try to figure out what was wrong with us, and I've figured out how to target and market to these people. Okay. And so the people with shoulder impingements, tennis elbow, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, not my jam. I send those people out to an insurance-based clinic. But people that I literally have a filter on my website. You cannot book an appointment unless you check a box affirming that you have had your pain for over 1.5 years. If you have had your pain for over 1.5 years, okay, and it says failed numerous providers, okay, tried everything type stories, then you can book an appointment. Why? Is because those people aren't shopping. Those people haven't. If you just hurt yourself, you should use your insurance. I pay 20 grand a year for this $10,000 deductible insurance, right? So like, you should use it, right? But when people get to the point when they start to realize that people around me don't understand what's wrong with me, and I've been everywhere type thing, then they start looking to try. Like, I have people come from hours and hours away. I actually open up my marketing to 3 hours away. Can you imagine doing that? Think about how many people they're passing and how many cash-based businesses they're passing on the way here, and insurance-based businesses, right? Think about how many people they're passing. Why? Is because I teach people how to be elite super specialists in chronic pain. That's what I do. I teach you the clinical skills, very different. I teach you the clinical skills, I teach you the diagnostic procedures, and I teach you the business skills. And we work together one-on-one, and we create the model, 7 figures, cash-based clinic working 20 hours a week. That is the model. And I'm trying to duplicate what I'm doing in here to get these clinics everywhere so we can bring these chronic pain patients in and help them the way that I do, and my students that are doing. And then also you can make a life that you want. You're not a slave to these insane insurance clinics, and you're making less than what a physical therapist makes when you're being gaslit by social media about what people are, this cash-based coaching rat race, I call it. After I got on the phone the umpteenth time with a provider, and they're telling me that they're making less than what a physical therapist makes, or whatever, or a chiropractor, whatever. I'm like, this is like a rat race, man. This is no different than insurance. Yeah, maybe you see one patient every 30 minutes. Good for you. So you have a better quality of life. But I mean, if you're making less than what a physical therapist makes, you're struggling, especially in this economy. Anyways, there's another way out. I teach you that. But you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to change clinically and change business. Okay? I give you my marketing company, my targeting, everything. I show you how to do these videos to show these chronic pain patients, what's wrong with them. I teach you how to get the person, how I get the person out of pain when they come in here, and how I get the person better. I develop protocols. I give you all my